Today, with the Dr. Phill family, Alexandra and Brandon, the intervention continues.
Alexandra, you think everybody's here to hurt you?
I love you and I need you.
You don't think Catherine cares?
No, I really don't.
Every intervention that you've ever done has been a success, is that right? Why wouldn't this one work?
My husband is in denial!
Alexandra's intervention takes an unexpected turn.
Alex takes off, but Brandon refuses to give up on her.
What are you going to do next time you're on the street and there's nobody there to help you out? I know, I've been there. The sweats, the depression, how bad you feel when you don't have your pills.
Leave me alone.
Then,
My sister called the police. Detox is really gonna suck in jail.
Yesterday, you saw the start of an intervention on Alexandra of the Dr. Phill family. Now, Debbie and Brandon are leading Aaron, Marty, Catherine, and other family and friends in a surprise intervention attempt. Here's what's happened so far. I'm going to send Brandon and his mother, Debbie. I'm asking them to go to Alexandra's hometown, build an intervention team, and do an intervention on her.
Brandon, going to ask her just for 5 minutes. If at any point it escalates to where anybody's safety is being jeopardized, I need someone that will call 911.
See, I have a problem with that.
You want to let her leave if she wants to leave?
Yeah, I don't want my daughter going to jail.
Her safety is what matters. They're not gonna hurt her in jail, Dad.
If she starts beating up on Mom, I promise you she's going to jail.
Well, that's not going to happen. This is my family. This is my daughter. You don't know my daughter from anybody.
All three of us can leave right now. If this happens during the intervention, this is going to fail. I hope you know that. Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
Sorry I scared you. Hey, I'm Brandon.
Hi. I'm Debbie.
Nice to meet you.
Leave me alone. Let me talk. Because I don't give a dude. Leave me alone. You don't care about me? I'm seriously I'm really about to start swinging, so come on. I don't want you in my life. I'm going to call the cops unless somebody gives so I can go.
Now, Alex isn't going to sit down, but she appears like she might be ready to listen. A close family friend begins to read what she has prepared to tell Alexandra.
Alexandra, I have seen your behavior affect your life in the following ways. I have seen the pain and sorrow your choices have caused your family. And I've also watched you isolating yourself from good influences to harmful ones. I feel very concerned for your life as your dependencies continue to dominate you and the real Alexandra becomes invisible. And I fear hearing the anguish in your mother's voice telling me that you've been incarcerated or hospitalized. It is not okay to keep enabling you to live like this. And I can only support you in your life if you are willing to get help for yourself today.
Okay.
But Alexandra, if you are willing to accept help today, I will support you.
Sissy, I've seen your behaviors affect your life in the following ways. I've seen you detach from our family and choose a life of unstable relationships and drugs. I've watched your kids grow distant from you and they miss you terribly. Our relationship has crumbled from a mountain into rubble. It deeply hurts that we are both without each other for support. I feel lonely without you. You're my only sister in life. And I feel scared that you won't be around to share life with me. I'm scared you will die from these choices you continue to make. I'm very angry that you won't just come home. I feel you are just a shell of your true, beautiful, smart, wonderful, amazing self of who you used to be. I love you and I need you. I miss you. I'm here always and want to be in your life. I miss just being around you. I'm sad for you and the path that you chose to take. I know these are not your true colors. Please let them shine. I don't want you to leave this world the way Grandma and Aunt Erica did. No, I promise I won't. If you're not willing to take part in the recovery process today, you know that our relationship will change. I will not allow you to treat Mom and Dad the way you do. I will not no longer support your decision to pretend that you don't have a problem. I will no longer pretend this isn't causing pain in our family. I will contact the police and let them know about your pills and how many you sell. I will contact the judge and let them know my concerns about you selling pills. If you do accept help today, I will support you in the following. I will call you and be there for you. I will attend the family program. I will visit you in your program after you complete it. I will support you by helping you complete the dreams that you've always wanted and having a family and a husband and things to do. And Paul's seen it affect me, and he would like to tell you how he feels about how it's affected me.
Alexandra, I have seen your behaviors affect your life in the following ways. I have seen you and your sister grow apart, as well as your children, all related to your life choices, which includes prescription drugs. If you're not willing to take part in this recovery process today, you need to know that our relationship will change in the following ways. I will no longer pretend that you don't have a drug problem, and I will support your sister and parents in getting custody of the kids.
Do you think your family cares or has your best interest in mind?
I don't really know what they have in mind. I think they have themselves in mind.
You don't think Catherine cares?
No, I really don't. Truly, I don't. So.
Is it possible that you could be wrong?
No. Really? No.
Do you know how bad that hurts her?
Well, I'm sorry that hurts her.
You don't care about her?
I care that I'm sorry that she's hurt, but there's been so many times when I've called and she hasn't answered or she's told me awful, horrible things. But that's okay. I'm putting up with it. I've excluded her from my life. I don't need it.
Are you pleased with the life that you're living?
Actually, I am happy.
Okay.
I am happy. So.
Aaron, go ahead.
Alexandra, I have seen your behaviors affect your life in the following ways. I have experienced you forfeiting the opportunity of visiting your children in order to drive to Orlando to see a pain doctor or a pill mill. I have seen you miss most family get-togethers because you are not feeling well because of the withdrawal from your prescription pain medication that is ever increasing. I have seen my precious, beautiful, darling daughter get very lost in a haze of ever-increasing prescription drug pills and use. Alexandra, your behavior has affected my life negatively in the following ways. I am very afraid of getting that 3 a.m. phone call telling me you've overdosed and died. I feel lonely not being able to share all the really exquisite moments that we have with your children. I want to call you and tell you that so-and-so Nathan said the cutest thing to Layla yesterday. They're just brilliant and wonderful, and I want to share that with you, Alexandra, and I can't. I feel angry that you're missing these precious moments of your small children's lives, and you will never be able to get them back, ever. You have so much to give, and I just know you do, honey. I want you to share your life with your children.
The cops said somebody told them we're fine.
My sister called the police and then hung up, and of course they came over immediately.
They have to talk to her and make sure she's okay because she's the one that called 911. They have to talk to her privately. And
Coming up.
You can sit there and shake your head all you want to. It's not funny.
Family doesn't kick you when you're down. That's what y'all have done. So.
Because I wouldn't give you money for your drugs? Because I'm not stupid.
But are we done?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill.
Is she superficial?
Very superficial.
She says her hubby's not hot enough for her.
I want the six-pack back.
I get her a six-pack. Six-pack of soda, six-pack of beer.
And she lost 150 pounds.
I have a lot of extra skin.
It was repulsive. What I think about when I see her skin is put some clothes back on.
That tells me that you're not in love with this woman. If he loved you, then he would love you in spite of it.
That's tomorrow. We now return to Alexandra and Brandon, The Intervention, Part 2.
We're continuing the intervention team's efforts to get Alexandra into rehab. Earlier, Alexandra had dialed 911 and police heard that she was being, quote, held hostage before she hung up the phone.
You're holding me hostage. This is called kidnapping.
When the police show up, the intervention is on hold while Alexandra talks to the officers.
I know she was just so hard to see her like this. So cold and just so... That's just mind-blowing how bad it is.
The police officer said that Alexandra had called the police and told him that somebody here had taken her bag away, and knowing the family like he did, he reassured the other officers that these people aren't like that, and that is not what happened.
Brandon and Catherine see pills in Alexandra's purse.
She might have something illegal that she doesn't want me to find.
Brandon and I both went through, unzipped the top pocket, and there was a pill jar that had 2.5 oxycodones in it with no prescription bottle. I am also disappointed that none of the officers stuck around for anything to make sure that she would have been safe.
Alexandra returns to hear the rest of what her mother has to say.
Alexandra, it is not okay for me to keep enabling you to live like this. I can only support your life if you are willing to help yourself today. If you are not willing to take part in this recovery process, you need to know that our relationship will change in the following ways. I will no longer continue to check in with you on Twitter or anywhere else. I won't pay your cell phone bill or give you any money whatsoever, and Dad has agreed. I will contact the judge to sentence you to a court-mandated drug rehabilitation. I will contact the police to inform them of your illegal activities. And I will also call the county police stating your truck is being used to sell drugs. Alexandra, if you're willing to accept help today, I will support you in the following. I will attend Al-Anon and get a sponsor and work the 12 steps. I will help you transition to a healthier lifestyle and get your house and have a healthy relationship with your children. Because I love you, Alexandra, very much. And I know somewhere inside you know that. I still love you.
Look at me.
I don't have anything to say to you.
How come you don't look at me when you talk to me?
I don't have anything to say to you, so go ahead, please read your paper.
Has any of this sunken in?
Sure.
I'm gonna cry, and you know I will. I've seen you go from this beautiful, precious daughter that I love. I'm going to continue to always love you, no matter what. And I've seen a person that you've turned into that I don't know anymore. And I know it's from the drugs that you do. And like your mother, I don't want to get woken up in the morning from the morgue or a policeman.
You can sit there and shake your head all you want to. It's not funny. But you're dead somewhere, Alexandra. And if you choose to go to this place where these wonderful people have come into our home and worked so hard, all these people, I will walk with you and be by your side through this whole thing. If you do not choose this help, Alexandra, I will sever all my ties with you. And I don't think you want that, do you?
I already thought you had.
Really? Who was that person that ran the medicine up to you the other night?
I appreciate that, thank you. I try for you not to be able to do that. I mean, I even offered to drive out here. But I said thank you, and if you're not going to do that, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't want to not do that, Alexandra.
Well, I don't want you to feel any kind of obligation, so.
What has happened to you?
I get it. That's what it is.
You don't get it.
I do. I get it a lot more than you think I do.
You want to live in a drug-infested life?
Oh, okay. Yep, sure.
You do.
Because you know exactly what...
I see. I'm not stupid. I see the environment that you are in, where you live. Yes, that was me that came by that night, checking on you. It sure was. Because I was worried about you. All your worthy belongings that your mother and I have given you and that you've accumulated are sitting in some yard in front of this condemned trailer you live in under this blue tarp. And don't tell me that they're not. We did not raise you to be
what?
That type of a person.
What type of person is that?
I just told you.
Somebody who's in a trailer is not good enough?
No. Somebody that is hooked on drugs, Alexandra.
Okay,
and don't tell me that you're not.
Okay. So you're saying that somebody who lives in a trailer is not worthy. That's exactly what you're saying.
Read it how you want to read it, Alexandra.
Yeah, I will.
Okay? No. You should not be living in that kind of an environment.
Okay.
Okay? We didn't raise you to be in that kind of an environment.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Next.
Your father's not finished.
Okay, let me finish, please.
Or you have to read all your papers.
Do you remember what your mother and I did for you right before Christmas?
You tried to help me with the license, and then...
We tried to help you with your
Yeah,
license?
you did, and then...
How much money did we spend for that, Alexandra?
I'm not sure.
What, $800,000?
I'll give it back to you.
You cannot give back to me what I want right now in the state that you're in.
Right. Okay.
You feel that this is just some big joke here, don't you?
I do. I really do. I'm sorry.
And you think it's all just funny. Is that what you think? Really? Seriously? And you think your mother and your family...
You guys have no idea.
You've separated yourself from your family. Why? I don't understand that.
The family doesn't kick you when you're down. That's what y'all have done. So, I appreciate it.
I've kicked you when you were down?
Yeah.
Down what? Because I wouldn't give you money for your drugs?
Money for my drugs, okay.
And you know I have numerous times. Because I'm not stupid.
Well,
I know what you...
Stupid.
I know what you do with that money.
Really?
Dad, I need grocery money. Okay. What your body needs.
Are we done?
Alexandra, I've been where you're at.
Okay, are we done?
You know who I am?
No, because Officer Charles said that when I am done, I can leave. Go. So,
Bye.
can I please have my purse?
Nobody has your purse. Bye.
Bye.
Coming up.
Leave me alone.
Where's your truck? Where are your kids? What happens if you get pregnant again? You just gonna drop them off?
You're not, like, gonna break me?
This is freaking ridiculous. You're gonna get hit by a car.
We now return to Alexandra and Brandon, The Intervention, Part 2.
The old expression is, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Well, Alex does exactly what we all expected. She takes off, but Brandon refuses to give up on her.
Alexandra, do you think everybody's here to hurt you? I'll come with you. Alexandra, look, nobody's here to hurt you. Aren't you tired of fighting all this? Where are you gonna walk to? Come on back. Quit fighting everybody. Can't you see everybody's trying to help you?
Obviously.
Yeah, you don't go through detox. You don't have that pain that goes all the way down to your bones, into your spine when you don't have your pills. I know, I've been there. The sweats, the depression, how bad you feel when you don't have that crap. It's not going to take that long for you to get better, where you don't have to go spend $300-400 a month on this doctor. Have you ever been to jail?
Actually, I have.
You like it there? Because, you know, what you're doing, selling your prescription, you're doing whatever. When's the last time you had a job? Huh? I've seen you on TV sitting on the side of the road saying you're homeless, begging for help. But what do you do with all the help? Nothing.
Right.
What are you going to do next time you're on the street and there's nobody there to help you out? When you're stuck there on the bridge and you have to do whatever you can to get those pills. It's not going to be fun.
Leave me alone.
These pills are...
You have no
That's
idea.
why you have no emotion. That's why you can't cry. That's why you can look your mom, your dad, your sister in the eye. They're all bawling, and you nothing.
Oh, yes, of course.
You're numb. And your back doesn't hurt, or you wouldn't be walking to this gas station.
Yeah, well, my back's on fire, and I want to get away from you, so...
You know, you get picked up with a felony, you'll never be able to get a job. You can't get in a party.
I've already been arrested for a felony, so I can't get a job nowhere.
You've already been arrested?
Yeah, for something I didn't do.
Well, the more, you know, and that's even worse. You get more than one that can put them all together, habitual offender, and you're done.
Right.
10 years.
You know all about it.
Yeah, I did half a year. In jail, because I didn't listen to this shit.
And then come back and talk to me.
You did a year in prison?
No, but...
Oh, your family has. Your family out there you're running back to.
Yes, exactly.
I found about 4 different pharmacy cards in her purse.
So we're calling those phone numbers, and we are going to let each pharmacy know that Alexandra is doctor shopping and that those prescriptions may or may not be legitimate.
I am on a mission to stop as much as I can.
She is currently abusing prescription drugs. Her family and I are trying to get her into rehab currently. She doctor shops, and she has multiple pharmacies.
You know, we got all day. Sure, friends aren't going to be happy if we show up. Where's your truck? Where are your kids? You have nothing in your life. Nothing.
I'm good.
No, you're not good. You're walking down the street going who knows where. You have a car, but you don't have a car. You got 3 kids, but you don't have 3 kids. You got a family, but you're losing your family. Huh? You don't need them in your life? So what do you need in your life? If you don't need your own kids, what happens when you get pregnant again? You're just going to drop them off? Hey, I had another baby. Here you go, Mom and Dad. Thank you for taking care of them. I'll come back in a couple months. Come on, Alex. This is ridiculous.
You're not, like, gonna break me, so cute.
You got all the help in the world. Some people would kill for this opportunity. You got so many people out there praying for you, just hoping you're gonna do the right thing. You got prescriptions for those meds you were bringing?
I didn't bring nothing.
I see. This is freaking ridiculous. You're gonna get killed. You're gonna get hit by a car.
Okay.
Alexandra hitched a ride. Some lady stopped and asked if we were bothering her, and she said yes. Can you please give me a ride? And she said yeah, and got in the car, and the lady said don't come near my car, and they drove off, so she's giving her a ride somewhere.
Coming up.
She's ready to walk away from everybody for her next freaking high, and my husband is in denial.
Every intervention that you've ever done has been a success, is that right?
He's fought me every step of the way. He has fought me every step of the way.
We now return to Alexandra and Brandon, The Intervention, Part 2.
Both Aaron and Marty are devoted to their grandchildren while also trying to save Alexandra from a life addicted to pain pills. Now, their marriage is under unbelievable stress. It is so incredibly difficult to get two parents on board for the emotional road of an intervention. Debbie and Brandon have tried to prepare everyone. They see Aaron following the program, but unfortunately, Marty wasn't on the same page, which was frustrating Aaron, especially when he appears to not support her. When Alexandra takes off, the police return to Aaron and Marty's house. Aaron is livid as she feels that Marty and the officer are undermining the intervention.
You know, you let him have his little cocktude instead of sticking up for me, Marty. I'm tired of it. You can't keep, we worked so hard to get where we are, and it fell apart in a second because of him. You don't think that? You're acting all smug. You're acting just like Alexandra now. What the hell, Marty?
I will tell you, this family has gone above and beyond to try to get that young lady help.
Every intervention that you've ever done has been a success. Is that right?
That is correct.
Everyone?
Everyone, 100%.
How many have you done?
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds?
Hundreds.
And everyone has worked?
Yes, sir.
Well, why wouldn't this one work? Because some cop comes up here and tells her that she has the right to leave? That's a lame excuse.
Please tell him that she's never going to be ready. Never, never, never. Ready? She's ready to walk away from everybody for her next high, and my husband is in denial. I can't take this anymore. I cannot take this. I can't take it. I cannot believe the selfishness that expands through my family.
You have done everything in your power to get not just your daughter, but your whole family help.
He's fought me every step of the way. He has fought me every step of the way. Oh my God, I just feel like I'm in like a nightmare. I just feel like this is like such a nightmare. It's like, I understand my daughter can't hear me. I get that. But this man doesn't take medication and he doesn't drink, really. He doesn't. And he can't hear me.
Do you think that Marty will continue to enable her?
Yes, I do. I think Marty's going to continue to enable her. I think he feels really guilty. And I said, so you're going to help her kill herself now? Because then when she's dead, he won't feel bad about being a bad dad.
This whole family has had a really long day, and they are raw and they are weary. I called in to check on everyone.
You guys give me a little bit of an update on what's happened so far today.
Didn't go real well. She's going to be a hard nut to bust, and you know that.
Well, I do know that. I hope you realize that's not her talking. If we're right and she's heavily addicted to drugs, and I believe that she is, then, you know, that's the drugs talking. And I've done everything I could to cajole her into this and encourage her into that. And at that point, you take it to the next level, and the next level is a confrontive intervention. And I told Debbie and Brandon that I did not think this would be a one-day step. I thought this would be the beginning of a process, and that I don't believe she will ever go to rehab until she is compelled to go by a court of law. And so this is just step one. Marty, Aaron, I think that, you know, how long will it go? You know, you don't do this for a day, you don't do it for 2 days, you don't do it for a week, you do it until.
She is very, very resistant, you know, to the treatment process, you know, has isolated herself from those who care about her the most, and she is only spending time with people who support her addiction.
Right.
It didn't matter. The only thing she cared about was, you know, getting back to what she needed to do, which was back to the drugs.
We're all on the same page that it's going to take an intervention by the law to move her into treatment.
But Marty, Ed, you know, you're her parents. You have to make the decision. All we can do is help you implement it once you decide. And if that's to try to get the courts involved, then yeah, I think that is the shortest route from A to Z. My view is if she doesn't get treatment, something bad's going to happen. And, you know, I think, Marty, it's very important that you and Aaron be on the same page here. And, you know, if you decide not to do one thing, then decide that you are going to do another. The worst thing you can do is nothing.
Right.
Brandon, you and Debbie, I told you going in that this is exactly where we would be today, correct?
Yes, sir, you sure did.
Yes, sir, you did.
We knew we had a challenge.
Process. I don't see this as a failure. I just see it as a step.
Yep.
And hopefully we can take the next step and the next step. We all want one thing for her, and that's to get clean and be safe and secure. So let's just keep our eye on that ball and see what happens.
I learned something from that. I mean, I came away from that intervention seeing.
What'd you learn today?
I learned how serious her addiction was.
So did I. And what else did you learn? What's the one thing that you learned?
Did your stubborn ox?
No. Well, yeah. That it's going to be a working progress.
Oh, yes.
Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
I understand. I just was hoping for a moment of clarity there somewhere.
Coming up.
She will have a choice if she can go to rehab in jail or rehab Dr. Phil's way.
You're going to sign saying our daughter's in clear and present danger of hurting herself.
Sorry, Alexandra. Detox is really going to suck in jail.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phill. She lost 150 pounds.
I have a lot of extra skin.
It was repulsive.
I think you are being very superficial. If he loved you, then he would love you in spite of it.
That's tomorrow. We now return to Alexandra and Brandon, The Intervention, Part 2.
Jail or rehab? That's what it may take to get Alexandra to face her addiction. Now, since she did not grab hold of our offer for rehab, her family made a very difficult decision.
If we can invoke the Marchman Act today, are you going to be on board for that?
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah.
You're going to sign saying our daughter's in clear and present danger of hurting herself. This is why.
Yeah.
You promise?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because I've got to have you be a part of this. Otherwise, we're not going to be successful.
I understand.
Hey, Jim, it's Erin Stell. We had an intervention today with Alexandra that didn't go quite as planned because apparently her addiction is a little deeper than we realized. So we really do want to invoke the Marchman Act.
The next step is getting her into rehab, whether she likes it or not, and she will have a choice if she can go to rehab in jail or rehab Dr. Phil's way.
She left here without her purse. Now, we did go through her purse and find all of her pharmacies, and we called them all. Sorry, Alexandra. We also found some oxys in there. And the next time you go to court, I want them to search your purse because I'm going to make sure they find your oxys. And detox is really going to suck in jail because you're endangering yourself with how many drugs you're taking.
We are going to start a legal procedure with our attorney to try to have Alexandra arrested. We hate to go that route, but I can see that the drugs are really, really bad. The condition that she was in today, it made me very sad and scared for her because I know that's not the Alexandra that I know.
I understand this weekend, Mother's Day weekend of all weekends, your intervention program or meeting didn't work, and there was some newly discovered evidence of continuing abuse. And we had talked about a Marchman Act, which is for forcing her to get help. Well, with the Marchman Act, a judge can review it, and if he feels there's evidence, he can order her to be assessed and also to be treated. And if it has to be residential, that could be ordered as well.
What do you think will be the next thing that will happen, Jen?
Well, within 10 days, the judge is required to have a hearing, sort of like an arraignment, to see if this is warranted, whether your daughter needs to be assessed, and that can be outpatient, or he could order her to the local hospital for assessment, which is usually a 3-day period, and then if it's found that it would be extended, that she needs to be there longer. I mean, everything that happened yesterday on Mother's Day, plus the things that you found now, which I'm going to recommend that you go down to the sheriff's office to have it filed as an incident report and be maintained as evidence, then I think there's a lot there. This would be her first time in front of the state attorney's office, and they look at rehabilitation also, as opposed to punishment. Punishment is always number one, but rehabilitation in drug court is a big objective of the state attorney's office.
What Alexandra, the behaviors from what we understand she's engaging in are very dangerous. Mm-hmm. And so this may be the very thing that saves her life is this Marchman Act.
Well, hopefully this will just really get in her face, and maybe when she sees the writing on the wall that she can't live this way, maybe then, unfortunately with addiction, you have to hit rock bottom before you start coming out of it.
Question, in your opinion, is this the right thing to do at this time?
Yeah, we talked about that beforehand.
Best thing to do.
Okay. Yeah, it's a two-pronged approach. Like I told her earlier, the DCF case can only go so far as getting Alexandra treatment. Okay, the judge can only go so far. The Marchman Act gives them a tool to go a little bit further. In other words, force her into treatment. Okay.
Yes.
But then again, remember, forced treatment's only good if the light bulb comes on. Oh, it's nice meeting you too.
Yeah, it's very nice to meet you too.
I guess I'll see you guys probably in a couple of weeks.
I love the support of Jim. He definitely gets it, and he is willing to go ahead and move forward with the Marchman Act, which is a huge, huge movement forward in getting Alexandra the help she wants, even if she doesn't think she needs it at this time.
We're getting ready to head to the county courthouse where I'm going to file the Marchman Act. And the reason that we did not do this sooner is that we really wanted Alexandra to make the choice on her own. We wanted her to choose rehab. But she doesn't even really think she has a problem. So that is why we're invoking the Marchman Act, because it takes the choice away from her.
Coming up.
I don't appreciate Mr. Sobriety. I just know she looks like a crackhead. She's about 90 pounds soaking wet. We get on the one with the problem.
Can I talk to you?
At that point, Catherine was just wop, 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 wop.
Our cameras met up with Alexandra after the intervention attempt. She's had a day to settle down and think about what she says her family put her through. Here are her thoughts.
Sunday was Mother's Day. I wanted to see my children. That is what it was about. And where were my kids? Where were my children during all this? I have no idea. I got all my kids something. I have a necklace inside for my mom, but I didn't bring it because something told me not to.
Happy Mother's Day!
These are for you. My dad hugged me and he was crying. I didn't understand why he was crying. I was confused. So I kind of made a weird face. I wasn't quite sure why he was crying, and that should have been a clue. When I turned and walked away after I was supposed to go see my son, I had rage, and I was ready to leave. I mocked my mom's emotions in the beginning because I really don't think she's sincere.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like sickening. Of course I feel bad that she's got my children, but I would love to be doing that. I wouldn't bitch about it. It's been about a year and a half since I've really ever felt any kind of emotion towards my mom.
Give me my purse so I can use my phone. Your phone is turned off right now.
And I've seen a person that you've turned into that I don't know anymore.
Nobody said anything that made me think, maybe something's wrong, because I don't feel that way. I'm the same person that I was 2 years ago. I'm just a little bit harder. That's just the way it is. That's the way life makes you.
If you do not choose this help, Alexandra, I will sever all my ties with you.
I'll always be a daddy's girl and I love him no matter what. And I know regardless of what anybody says, he's still gonna talk to me. When I called the cops, when they wouldn't let me leave, I know my rights.
The cops over.
I don't really know my sister anymore.
Oh my God, dude. So can I talk to you? I miss you. I haven't seen you in forever. Can I at least spend time with you outside talking and at least get to talk to my sister?
At that point, Catherine was just wop, 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 wop. Called Catherine many times. And over Christmas is when I really just, you know what? If she's not going to accept me for the way I am, I don't need her in my life anymore. When she tells you off or whatever and she's rude to you, I can only take so much. I just know she looks like a crackhead. She's about 90 pounds soaking wet. We get on the one with the problem. I was done. That's why I walked out. I don't appreciate Mr. Sobriety telling me if you're a really good parent, you're walking away from your kids, they're gonna hate you. That's war.
Have you ever been to jail?
While I was walking down the road, I was feeling harassed.
Leave me alone. Stop, stop, stop.
Quit fighting everybody. Can't you see everybody's trying to help you?
You're not, like, gonna break me? I am stubborn as all hell. You, Mr. Sobriety Brandon. I hope that everybody learns to just let things be and stop creating drama that doesn't need to be there. I hope my parents are happy with what they did on Sunday. It worked out real well.
Sadly, it's obvious Alex hasn't learned anything. Nor is she willing to listen to family or friends or even me, for that matter. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I will not see Alexandra again unless it is in the lobby of a rehab. If she goes to rehab, she'll do it in privacy. There'll be no cameras in that rehab. Nobody's going to bother her. But she's got to be willing to decide her life is worth saving. Her life is worth working on. And there are 3 children who would love to have a vote to get their mother clean, sober, and plugged back in. But unfortunately, nobody asked them. Maybe we're all being the voice of those children. Maybe that's why I've been so slow to give this up. We'll be right back. Well, I guess the saga continues. I read the message boards. I know you guys have been telling me, Dr. Phill, give it up, move on. This girl doesn't want help. She may not, but those 3 kids want help. They want their mother back. And what I know is that there is an addiction wall that stands between her and becoming the mother those kids deserve. We're hearing all of this from Alexandra right now, but this isn't how she really feels. This isn't even her really talking. You know, it's like you got a drug devil sitting on your shoulder saying, don't listen, don't listen, don't listen. I believe there is something inside this young woman that says, I want help. Now, she hides it about as well as anybody I've ever seen. I will give you that. I've counted the eye rolls, the sighs, the lies, all of that. I get it. At this point, I've said before, I don't think she's going to go till she's compelled to go by the authorities, and then you got to get her to show up. Well, her family has taken that step. They've set a court date. We'll see if she shows, and we'll see if she can convince a judge that she has no problem with drugs, that she's just fine, despite the fact that she has 3 children from 3 different men and has custody of none of them, doesn't see them on a regular basis, has no job, has no life, and a pocket full of prescriptions. We'll see what the court has to say. I just want her to get help. I want her to have her life back. And I tell you what, if I was lost in that dark world of drug addiction, I would pray to God somebody was coming for me.
Marty and I are now in the process of serving Alexandra with the Marchman Act.
We are in a time crunch to save Alexandra's life.
We just left the courtroom and Alexandra's not been served.
The judge is going to reschedule the hearing.
I really think she's avoiding a process server that has to give it to her, and if she continues to avoid that, eventually she'll just get picked up and thrown in jail. She'll be like trying to catch a fish with your bare hands. You know, it's just not going to happen. But I just want to grab my daughter and get her well right now.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phill. Women say when they hit a certain number, they feel invisible. You noticed something around 45.
It's literally like a cloak of invisibility that comes over you when you're a middle-aged woman.
You say the pandemic forced you into embracing your gray hair.
Yes. And how beautiful are you?
You compliment her for being beautiful, but then you say, well, it shouldn't be about beauty. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Well, have you heard the saying that men age like fine wine, but women age like a glass of milk? Well, I'd like to know who came up with that, because it is not right. Now, I know men have it easier when it comes to aging. I mean, look at me. I've been bald since I was like 12. And that's okay, apparently. But despite the fact that celebrities like Jane Fonda and Jamie Lee Curtis are opening our eyes as to what it means to be a silver fox, there is still a huge double standard. Women say when they hit a certain number, they feel invisible, washed up, unwanted. Now, supermodel, 57-year-old Paulina Horoskova is famously candid on her social media for shutting down those who think her face needs fixing or that she should not be posing in a bikini at her age. Really? Take a look.
When I was 15, I started modeling, and it was a very hard thing to walk away from. Then around the age of 45, I started noticing that the way I was perceived was slightly different than what I had become used to. And then I would put photos of myself in bikinis. All of a sudden, I started getting the influx of, "Are you a little desperate there, Grandma? How about you cover up and spare us the look of your poor aging body?" I was sort of getting relinquished to the invisible women category. People will literally just walk into you, and you think, hold on a second. I am actually a far more interesting person than I've ever been. And this is where you don't want to see me anymore because I've aged out of being physically appealing to you. I understand what it takes to make my skin wrinkle-free, and I don't think it's worth it. Being able to express how I feel to me is one of the most wonderful things about my face. I'm like, isn't that why it was made? I'm trying to go, how about this? How about this unaltered, even beautiful? How about that?
Well, welcome.
Well, thank you. So pleased to be here.
So, look, this is a big deal for a lot of women, and there are women who would love to look like you at any age, and you say that you noticed something around 45.
Mm-hmm. What I got was sort of a very slow understanding that I was becoming invisible. I'm not just talking like, you know, I stopped getting the attention of men, but like literally, you know, walking to a bar, the bartender doesn't notice you, going into a shoe shop and like nobody's noticing. It's literally like a cloak of invisibility that comes over you when you're a roughly middle-aged woman who looks middle-aged.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you have a new book, No Filter, The Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful. And why did you write it?
Well, actually, so the reason I wrote it, it's not completely philanthropical. Maria Shriver followed me on Instagram, and she called me one day and she said, you know, I really love what you're doing on Instagram, so would you consider writing a book for me like you write Instagram? And so, you know, dealing with topics that middle-aged women deal with. I mean, in my case, it was divorce and then the death of my husband, you know, grief, and then also aging and invisibility and sort of all of the stuff that comes when you find yourself in your middle age and sometimes single, and your children have left the nest, and it's like a second coming of age. It's like you're supposed to start something else, and just at the same time as the rest of society saying, Grandma, back off, into your corner, go and knit.
Now, when you were on social media, a plastic surgeon called you out, actually, and said there were some things you needed to fix.
Well, they posted a picture of me that I posted on Instagram that I thought I looked really good in. And underneath it, they pointed out everything that I should have done in order to look good. And I find that offensive. I find that truly offensive because I look around me and I look at women my age and I look at all of you and I think, but wait, what I have gained with age, fine, I've lost that bouncy smoothness that comes with age, but my face now has character. And that to me is so much more beautiful.
Do you feel that there's a shift when you start getting to a certain age? I mean, do you feel that? If you do, raise your hand. Okay, yeah. So a lot of people feel it that way.
You put a blanket down on the beach and people will just like walk over it like you're not there. I mean, you know, so I'm not. It's,
is it
that
that
kind
bad,
of
really?
Yeah. This is the best age to do like a bank robbery for sure.
Yeah. You just walk in, get the money, and
Hey,
walk
ladies, want to rob a bank with me after this?
Yeah.
Just take our makeup off and dress normal. We can get away with it for sure.
Robin, what do you think of it? How do you feel about this?
Well, I actually embrace aging. I really do. I love the challenge. I've always loved the challenge, I guess, of getting older. And I feel with me, it's a frame of mind. I've embraced every decade, my 30s, my 40s. I was busy with raising my family, but I always knew I was going to embrace the challenge of doing what it took to be my healthiest and also look my very best. I love that challenge, and I'm always going to do that. So I enjoy taking on, doing what it takes to feel my best, but also look my best. And I'm not going to be embarrassed or ashamed of that. So I'm in my 60s. I'll be in a matter of just maybe 2 weeks. I'm turning 69 years old. I've never
beautiful
had
69.
Thank
Yay.
you. Thank you. I've never had a problem with age, with the number. I wear what I want to wear. I've always done my own hair and makeup because I love hair and makeup. So I love the challenge of looking my best, and I'm not ashamed of that.
Well, she wrote a book called What's Age Got to Do with It? And she was sitting on 55, a big 55 on the cover, and people in Hollywood were like, oh my God, I can't believe she said her age.
Oh yeah. Every time I say, I mean, I'm like completely forced. I'm like, I'm 57, and you know what? I am freaking lucky to be 57. Exactly. There are people that don't get to be 57. I am fortunate to be 57, and I'm proud of having made it this far. With everything I've learned, I'm better now than I've ever been, and this is why I'm not okay for us to be dismissed by society.
You're right. I mean, and consider the alternative. That's the way to not age, right?
Best way to not get wrinkles is to die young, right?
Yeah, leave a beautiful corpse. That's no option. All right, coming up, Paulina reveals how grief consumed her 3 years ago and what she did about it. Plus, we'll meet a 60-year-old woman who says she once looked like Barbie, but feels like an ugly outcast. We'll talk to her next. And again, I want to hear from you guys in the audience as well. We'll be right back.
Tammy, I'm 60 years old. When I was young, people used to call me Barbie. I had a perfect face and a perfect body. Now that I'm 60, my face is sagging and my body is not proportioned properly. When I go out, I feel invisible. People don't talk to me. I feel overlooked, and this really hurts my feelings.
Well, that was 60-year-old Tammy, who says she's so self-conscious of her age, she sometimes, well, she just doesn't want to leave the house. It's just easier to stay home and not deal with it. But model and author Paulina Porskova says, what's wrong with being 60? I mean, that'd be your question for Tammy, right?
No, it's not what's the problem with being 60. I absolutely understand what the problem of being 60 is. It's not you. It's the people around you that haven't reframed aging, that haven't redone their little goggles to see that there's the beauty of youth and then the beauty of maturity. You're a beautiful woman, and you don't feel it?
I do feel beautiful. I feel beautiful inside. I don't feel beautiful outside. As you were saying, once we reach a certain age, you know, we start 45 or so, we start to feel invisible. Yeah. And it hurts. And I feel like it's almost like a secret hidden epidemic about women that are older that start to feel invisible.
And I don't disagree that that's a problem. And I've seen the surveys. I've talked to women that have said, you thought it was going to be your problem, and your friend said, oh, no. Me too. You're not going to look the same at 40 you do at 20, or at 60 you do at 40. They're going to change. Yeah. That doesn't mean they're better or worse. They're going to change.
but that's it. It's not that it's better or worse, but it's right now as society, there is a better and a worse. 20 is good, 50 is bad.
After hearing Robin speak about how beautiful she embraced her 30s, 40s, 50s with her family and, you know, her career and everything she does, I didn't have all that. And now that I'm older and my face is starting to sag, and I remember once when I was young, my sister said, if people didn't look at you, you would think something was wrong. Like that was, you know, I got a lot of attention and I grew up with that. And then when you reach a certain age, as Paulina was saying, you know, stepping over you on the beach and, you know, just a grocery store, you know, you're outgoing and you're just ready to say hi to people and enjoy life. And people are kind of looking around you and, oh, you know, it's hurtful.
You know, age is going to break down our tissues, our skin. Yeah. But it doesn't break down integrity. It doesn't break down our passions. It doesn't break down our values. It doesn't break down all the things that define.
We have that on the inside.
We do.
But once we go out, we're reminded.
Yes,
we're reminded that you're not so it anymore.
That you are not wanted. You are not desirable.
It's so
to us, you're not attracted anymore.
Are you talking about to men?
Yeah, well, just
men
actually
society.
Well, patriarchal society. So yeah, there you go. No offense, but also there is a thing about we women from the time we are born. One of the things that is instilled in us is that being pretty.
You're so cute.
Is really important. That's where we get the pretty privilege. Because if you're pretty, you get the privilege that comes with being pretty.
You're so smart.
We don't get that. You don't get. What a smart little girl.
Right?
What a talented little girl. You get.
And if we were raised in that respect and talked to like that along the way, maybe it would have been different.
How many times do you hear "what a beautiful little boy"? It's not quite as often.
No, I don't think I've ever heard that.
See, so we are conditioned that being pretty, whatever else you are, you can be talented and you can be ambitious and you can be super smart. But if you're pretty, you get a little leg up. You were using the pretty privilege, as was I.
I was using it to be accepted into society.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that that's fading away, I feel very alone. And I'm not married. You know, I've been divorced for 20 years. So I don't really date. I only date in view to marriage, so I don't date, period. So I don't get that attention and that boosting or whatever that, you know, I have my own confidence. I do. I feel very good about myself. But the look thing, going out.
Now, there was that word you just said. So I feel really good about myself, but means forget what I just said. I'm going to now tell you what I really think. When we come back, would you believe that women of all ages feel the stress of aging? We're going to meet a 33-year-old woman who says she feels old, she feels irrelevant, over the hill. That's next.
I'm Fifi, and I'm 33 years old, and even saying that out loud is kind of scary. Ever since I've been in my 30s, I've noticed a decline in male attention, so getting hit on, catcalled, whatever, which at first I was kind of bummed about, I'm not gonna lie, just because I used to thrive off of male validation. Let's be real, you guys. We live in an ageist society where the most power and the most social capital a woman will have is between the ages of teenage to 25.
Well, Paulina Porskova has written a book, No Filter, and she really got real in this book. She got real on social media, got a lot of criticism for being real on social media, both in her pictures and in what she said when she was grieving, going through grief after losing her husband that she'd been married to for a long, long time. You just heard from 33-year-old Fifi, who says that she's consumed by her fear of aging. And Fifi, you think that's already started, it's already hit. You said once you pass 25.
No, actually, I woke up on my 23rd birthday and I had a mental breakdown.
At 23?
At 23 years old, I like crawled to my knees and I covered my face, like, you know, like a movie scene, you know, I was like, I'm so old. Can you imagine how I feel now? Can you imagine how we feel right now? I understand.
I think I'm going to have to crawl out from underneath the ground.
Where's my cane?
And you say that you're on social media and a lot of guys are saying stuff to you, right? Well, here are some of them. I've put them up so we can see. You look 110.
Yeah.
She's old and has lip filler. A woman's worth dips past 25.
Yeah.
How are you not embarrassed at your age?
Yeah.
I thought she was in her 40s.
Yeah, I get that a lot, actually. 40s and 50s.
Yeah. And so these are guys commenting?
Yeah, they're mostly unshowered men between the ages of about 13 years old to about deathbed. Yeah.
Yeah.
They always have the most to say, the crustiest ones, you know.
You're letting these people bug you. These guys are saying that. You wake up at 23 and you've got your head in your hands crying?
I mean, yeah, you know, sure, you know, I partly it is, you know, my inability to kind of put a wall up, but I do think because I grew up in an age with, you know, social media and a certain type of media that I was exposed to, I feel like I've been programmed in a very unhealthy way by society and internalized all of that.
Let me do a quick survey here, and I'm not just trying to puff you up, but in terms of inventory, besides her looks and her beauty, what do you guys notice about her? What jumped out at you when she came up here and started talking?
It's very articulate, very well spoken, very clear, yeah.
Yeah. Robin?
Sense of humor.
Yeah. You got a great sense of humor. She's smart. Do you take time giving yourself credit for those qualities, those characteristics?
Not as much as I should. I feel like I spend more time, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I'll look at myself in the mirror this close, and then I'll just like look at all of my pores. I should probably be doing more self-love internally than doing that.
Well, you know, your internal dialogue, your personal truth really does define how you carry yourself and how you present yourself. Yeah. Which really teaches other people how to treat you. The way you treat yourself teaches other people how to treat you. And they say, look, she knows herself better than anybody else. And if she thinks she's less than, who am I to question her?
That's valid.
They'll take that lead. Coming up, how does social media play into the way we do see ourselves?
Well,
plus, we'll meet a woman who says when she looks in the mirror, she screams. All that next.
I am 54 years old. Hello? Yeah, me. Yeah, see, that's some of the problem right there. It's that invisibility factor. I went from somebody that could get service at the store to them calling the people behind me. They really don't see you anymore. You're not old enough for people to say, oh, you're so sweet. And you're not young enough to go, oh, you are smoking. You don't get any of those. Overnight, you become invisible.
Here's another one that's got a great sense of humor and very creative. I was laughing when I watched your tape originally. That's 54-year-old Terry, who says between her throat waddle, age spots, wrinkles everywhere, and bifocals, it's impossible to look in the mirror and feel good. Really?
Really? Seriously, I picture myself as I was probably in my 30s, because that was probably my happiest time. Now I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh. I go out, it's a different reaction. Like you both said, social media, I love social media. I love to but I will not be in that. I will do anything, but if you look at some of my Instagram stats, I'm always in the corner of the picture, so you'll see the cute part. Yeah. Yeah, not kidding. That's how it is. And it's because of this self-love, self-being. You just feel beaten down.
But you say you feel beaten down. Are you beating yourself down or are other people beating you down?
Well, yeah, but myself I do. But also, like I said, it's that invisibility factor. It is truly sitting on the beach and they walk right. People bump into you and they're shocked you're not a pillar or something. They're like, oh, that was a person.
Really?
Yes. It's horrible.
Hello and welcome to our world.
Right, and this has happened for generations, and your parents, your mother never spoke of this. Like the previous, I think it's just coming out now. I believe it's going to be younger and younger with the more social media out there, because women are harder and harder on themselves to get to that level that they feel is acceptable instead of no
But
filter.
let me tell you, people that are saying those things to Fifi, I guarantee you they're in their grandmother's basement. They haven't seen sunlight in 3 weeks, couldn't get a date if they kidnapped them, and they look like, I guarantee you they look like Fido's ass. And they're criticizing her.
No, I agree. They're the trolls on
I mean, get a
social
life.
media.
Who's on the internet criticizing other people?
Oh, a lot.
Really
a
unhappy
lot.
people.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
So you've
obviously,
got to consider the source.
I get a lot of it. I mean, every time I show up in a bikini, I'm like, pathetic grandma, go and hide. And I'm like, why? I look good. Like, what's your problem? Yeah. But it is the social media. It is, I think, because actually I think it's the filter culture.
Oh, yeah.
Is that we are told that you could look like this. Well, see, I look good in the bikini, right?
Well, no.
Thanks. and I post this, and I'm told to hide. That I'm too old to be doing this.
90+% of the time says more about them than it does about the person they're talking about. In all situations. And you were on grieving about your husband. This was a difficult time for you. And you said you were just looking for a connection. You were wanting to express yourself. And people were criticizing you about that.
Yeah, I mean, when my husband died 3 years ago, and I was going through the hardest time of my life. And so I reached out just sort of blindly on Instagram and found a wonderful community of people that were also going through losses and grief. But simultaneously, then there were the people that go, oh, you know, pathetic, narcissist, why don't you just, you know, get a better doctor and up your meds?
Anonymously, they'll say it to you, but they wouldn't say it to you.
Right.
And of course, your theory is they wouldn't even see you because you're invisible. But that's not true. They wouldn't say it to you on an elevator, but they'll say it to you on the internet.
But that just feeds into that soul, that whole feeling of self-worth in them, because you're already beating yourself up more than they can, and then they reinforce that, even though you know they're sitting in their basement and they're crusty.
Isn't that also a part of like human nature, Dr. Phill, that we tend to respond more to criticism, that we take that harsher than we take all the positive?
Well, particularly if you believe a kernel of it anyway. Yep. All right, coming up, Terry says she went all Karen on some young men playing ball at the park. She's going to tell us about that next. Terry, fess up. Who'd you gang up on at the park?
So I went to the park and I had a little picnic. I just like to go during the day. It kind of lets me meditate and chill. And I put my little blanket down and kids started, not kids, they were like, I don't know, 20-something, started playing football. And they're running across my blanket and they're like, I'm like, excuse me. And finally, like, the mama peace officer, angry person came out. I'm like, yo, back off. What? Hello? And I did. I said, you're disrespectful. I know you were probably taught better than this in your whole life, and you probably have better manners. Back off.
Yeah, well, that's pretty rude.
It was.
I mean, they're running across your blanket.
It was. My friends had stuff like that happen. I'm sure people, you've had it. Yeah,
Hello.
it's silly.
I want to introduce something else. Elisa was a fashion stylist who can relate to these women. Take a look.
When I turned 30, I remembered feeling really depressed. I was insecure about my looks. I didn't feel pretty enough. I didn't feel good enough. I just didn't feel enough. I feel much more enough now. People should never feel limited by what they can do or how they can grow or how they can change, and never give their power away to anyone that tells them that they're not enough. And if we all knew that, we would have a completely different world.
Elisa and her daughter Lily are co-founders of Style Like You, a website focused on self-acceptance. And they are also the brains behind the documentary series What's Underneath Project, in which people like Paulina talk about their vulnerabilities while slowly stripping down to their underwear. Elisa, Lily, thank you guys for being here. You've been listening to everything that we're talking about, and you know, I'm talking about the importance of what everybody, particularly these women, are saying to themselves, as opposed to listening to what they're hearing other people say. And I think that's really important. What do you guys say about that?
Yeah, I completely agree with that, but we live in a system and in a society and in a marketing machine that's designed to make us feel less than so that we buy things. Exactly. And so to me, it's a criminal act. And because our lives are so valuable, and it doesn't become less or more valuable with any of these external things, age or gender or race or body size or mental or physical, nothing, none of, it's all, you're not more or less valuable because of any of those things. You are valuable, you're inherently valuable. And your life is meant to be an uncovering of that value, so it improves with time.
And Lily, millennials and Gen Zers are really interested in learning about getting older. Why do you think that's true?
I think we're all pretty afraid of it. I mean, I don't know if we're so, I think, well, on our video platform that we create, my generation, Gen Z and millennials are we interview people of all ages who kind of defy beauty standards and norms and like really own who they are from the inside out. And our videos on older women specifically are some of our most popular that we ever create, because I just think that as my mom said, and as we've all been talking about, we're all so conditioned to fear aging and to think that our beauty becomes irrelevant. So then when we see someone who doesn't buy into that and who completely owns who they are, and they actually radiate beauty in a way that we're not really seen in most of media, and that's so shocking for us. And I think that my generation is just like relieved when they see something like that and like that, are presented with another option.
The fact is, there is very little demand for women our age. And so it's hard for us to look up to women our age. No, well, you know what? Women our age have the most amount of money and the most amount of power.
And knowledge.
And then we buy wrinkle creams from 17-year-olds.
We were at an event Saturday night that was kind of emceed by an 87-year-old woman. And she has a great internal dialogue. Her name's Ruta Lee. Y'all may remember, some of you may remember her. She's a Hollywood actress. And she's written a book, Consider Your Ass Kissed. It's kind of her attitude, but she looked great. She sounded great. She had great confidence. She
did.
Actually introduced a doctor from UCLA that was 93, and he walked up and she said, "So, how's it going in the bedroom?" And I thought, what? What is it? And he had a good answer. So I think it's all about attitude and what you say internally. And you say it's criminal that they're being exploited, but at some point, you're not a victim, you're a volunteer. Mm-hmm. You got to say no.
We need to reframe our look at aging and see it for what it is, a change, not a bad change, just a change.
And also it's redefining what beauty is. Like when you say that before, something about, well, you now you're smart, now you can be this. No. It's like you are beautiful. Like, what is beauty? Who is defining that? If everything is being retouched, if everything is being erased off of you in media, then it's very hard not to have that internal, dialogue to be negative. I mean, it's not. We have to be real about that. There's an accountability.
Yeah.
Carrie Lynn, where are you? You say the pandemic forced you into embracing your gray hair, for example.
Yes. Yeah, I had stopped dyeing it just before, and then the pandemic hit, and I just decided, okay, now I do it.
Yeah.
And how beautiful are you? My God.
You compliment her for being beautiful, but then you say, well, it shouldn't be about beauty. And you say the same thing. We've got to define beauty as being beautiful at 70 or 80 or 90. And I'm just saying that beautiful is not just about visuals. There's beautiful spirit, there's beautiful intellect, there's beautiful deeds, there's beautiful value. And I think we mean the same thing, right? That it's defined multidimensionally. Paulina's book, No Filter, The Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful. Listen, this is a must read. I tell you what, it's informative, but it's also extremely thought-provoking. It is extremely thought-provoking, I have to say. And it's available on Amazon or wherever you buy your books. And by the way, Paulina brought enough for everybody in today's audience, so you're all going home with a copy of her new book. Just ahead, my next guest says bedtime is wartime with their young children. Solutions for them and parents everywhere now. The dreaded bedtime battles. Parents of young ones, you know what I'm talking about. Children finding every excuse in the book to avoid going to sleep. My next guests, Veronica and David, are no strangers to this common parental dilemma. They desperately want help getting their children to sleep so they can get some shut-eye themselves. Take a look.
Give me! Stop. David and I have 3 beautiful girls together. Our household is very crazy, very loud, noisy.
Being the only man in the house is a little tough. Living with 3 girls is as crazy as I ever thought it would be.
All right, girls, it's time for bed. People would think that bedtime would be relaxing, but not in our household. Come on. Bedtime is the hardest time for me and David.
And when it's time to get into bed, there's every excuse in the world not to get in bed.
You gotta go to bed. Kalani has tantrums at nighttime, which are the worst. It's time for bed, no TV. She starts kicking, she starts screaming. It is just so tiring. You guys need to calm down, and you guys need to go to bed. I am always looking for something to make my life easier to put my children to bed. I love my girls, but at nighttime, it can become a nightmare. Good night.
Well, joining me are Veronica and David, along with Dr. Angela Holliday-Bell, sleep expert and Hello Bello ambassador. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
So, Veronica, how often do these bedtime battles happen in your house?
Every single night.
Really?
Every single night, when I say the word bedtime, our 3-year-old Kalani, she will start screaming, kicking, crying, biting. She will not stop. Our other 2 children pretty much see her acting like that, and then they start interfering as well, and all chaos breaks loose. I'm so tired.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm tired just listening to it. So, David, what's it like when you're on bedtime duty?
Dr. Phill, I'm a police officer, and sometimes I feel like it's easier to deal with the criminals on the street than dealing with my kids at home.
Yeah, I would think so.
Every excuse in the world. When it's time to go to bed is water, need to go to the bathroom. And even though I love it, they try to get extra hugs and kisses, but I know it's an excuse just to get out of bed.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're in love with you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Doctor, I'm sure this isn't anything new to you. As a sleep expert, can you help this family with this nighttime drama?
Yes, I can. And you're absolutely right. This is a very common situation, especially when it comes to young children. So the first thing I recommend is getting rid of those electronics before bedtime. The reason for this is that the blue light that's emitted from electronics, like the television or the tablet, can actually interfere with your natural melatonin release, which is a hormone that sets the stage for sleep. The second thing I recommend is utilizing the power of positive reinforcement. And that's when you reward your child for engaging in the desired behavior. For example, you can offer something like a sticker or some other token when they go to bed without whining or don't get out of bed in the middle of the night. And then once they reach a certain amount, they get a larger reward.
You know, our son Jay and his wife Erica have 2 children, Avery and London, and I'm sure they've had their fair share of struggles at bedtime when they were younger. And a few years ago, Jay and celebrity couple Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard founded Hello Bello, a company with premium products at an affordable price. And their flagship items are diapers and wipes, but they also carry a line of products for the whole family. And now they have safe and effective products to help little ones go to sleep and get the rest that they need. And Dr. Holliday-Bell, are there Hello Bello products that really might be helpful for these 2?
Yes, there are. So another very important sleep tip I recommend is establishing a consistent bedtime routine. I like to recommend the 3 B's when it comes to calming children and getting them prepared for sleep. And that's take a bath, brush your teeth, read a book. Now, in terms of bath time, the Hello Bello Soft Lavender Shampoo and Wash, Body Lotion, and Bubble Bath come formulated with a soothing lavender scent that's perfect for calming children and even stressed parents. And the best part about it all is that the bath products and the lotions are formulated without the addition of any synthetic fragrances, sulfates, or parabens.
I heard melatonin was pretty good for them to go to sleep, but I don't want to medicate my kids. As a pediatrician, what would you suggest?
You know, that's a very common concern I hear from parents. And generally speaking, melatonin is a safe and effective supplement. But as pediatricians, we typically recommend starting by initiating a consistent, healthy bedtime routine, like the one I mentioned earlier, before introducing something like melatonin. Now, should melatonin be necessary, a supplement like the Hello Bello Kids Sleep Well Gummy Vitamin can be used to help reset your child's sleep-wake cycle. And then once they're on a good regimen or a good schedule, you can wean it and then use it just as needed after that.
Yeah, Kristen Bell actually co-wrote a book called The World Needs More Purple People. And it's a great children's book that you can read at bedtime. And Dr. Bell, I hear you have one last thing you'd like to share.
I do. Veronica and David, we have a surprise for you. Hello Bello is giving you all with a $1,000 Hello Bello gift card.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So you can try out all of their products for yourselves.
You can finally go to sleep.
Yeah. And by the way, everybody in the audience is going home with a copy of The World Needs More Purple People. So all the Hello Bello products are available online at hellobello.com. And you can also find them at Walmart stores nationwide. Look, I want to thank all of my guests today. Thank you, David and Veronica. Good luck. And thank you, Dr. Angela, for being here. And a special thanks to Hello Bello. For more information about today's episode, or if you'd like to share your story, log on to drphill.com. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, you can do it there. You can do it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We just continue. The show doesn't stop when we finish here. If you're in the Los Angeles area, we'd love to have you join us on stage. Just go to drphill.com, click on Be Part of the Audience for all the details. We'll see you next time. Be safe. Take care.